In the giant silver classroom of Zarellan University, dozens of alien students sat with their glowing notepads. The air was buzzing with curiosity. Today's topic was rare and shocking. Professor Razel, an elder with 4 glowing eyes and tentacle-like fingers, stood at the center of the room. He looked over the students and said in a serious tone, "Today, we will study one of the strangest species in the galaxy, humans." Gasps filled the room. Everyone had heard of humans. They were unpredictable. They lived on a wild planet called Earth, but what came next made the students freeze. Unlike most species in this galaxy, Professor Razel said, human males are always fertile. A tall blue-skinned student raised her hand. Her name was Zirala, the top student in her biology class. "Excuse me, Professor. Did you say always?" The class laughed nervously. "Yes," Razel said, nodding. "Human males can reproduce at any time. They do not follow a mating season. Their bodies are always ready." Zirala frowned. "That sounds broken." "Is it a mutation?" "No," the professor replied. "It is natural for them. This constant fertility has made their population grow fast, and their mating behavior is very different from ours." Zirala couldn't believe it. On her home planet, the mating season came once every 5 years. The females prepared for it carefully. The males had to wait. Everything was controlled and clean. Always ready? That sounded dangerous. "Next week," Razel continued, "one of you will travel to Earth to observe a human male in his natural setting. You will report your findings to the university." Every student sat up straight. Zirala's name appeared on the glowing screen. She was chosen. Her eyes widened. "Me?" The professor nodded. "You are the best. Learn everything you can, and be careful." 3 days later, Zirala stood in front of a small house on Earth. She wore a translator device and a thin robe to hide her glowing skin. Her body trembled, not from fear, but from the strange warmth of Earth's sun. The door opened, and a tall human male stood there. He smiled. "You must be Zirala. I'm Elliot." Zirala blinked. He looked normal. 2 arms, 2 legs, messy brown hair. But she could already feel a strange scent in the air. Her nose twitched. "Hello," she said in simple English. "I have come to observe you." Elliot laughed kindly. "That's the weirdest greeting I've heard, but come in." Over the next few days, Zirala stayed in Elliot's guest room. She watched him as he cooked, cleaned, talked, and laughed. Everything seemed peaceful, but then she started noticing odd things. Elliot's body temperature remained warm, even at night. His scent grew stronger at certain times. Her skin felt strange around him, tingly, sensitive. One night, while he slept, she scanned him quietly with her alien tool. The data shocked her. Pheromones, high. Reproductive cells, active. Cycle, constant. Her eyes widened. It's true. He never stops producing. She sent a report back to her planet. The human male shows constant fertility. His body does not rest. This may be dangerous for alien biology. The next morning, Elliot found her staring at him from across the kitchen. He smiled. "You okay? You've been really quiet." Zirala hesitated. "Do you ever stop being fertile?" Elliot raised an eyebrow. "What?" "I mean, do you have a season? A time when your body rests?" Elliot laughed. "Nope, that's not how we work." Zirala looked down at her notes, confused. "That is strange. What if there's no one to mate with? Do you suffer?" Elliot choked on his drink. "Well, no. I mean, it's fine. We don't just suffer because we're fertile." Zirala was even more confused now. "Your biology makes no sense." "Maybe yours makes no sense," Elliot teased. She looked up at him seriously. "No, yours is dangerous. You're always ready. Always producing. You could change other species just by being near them." Elliot scratched his head. "That sounds like a lot of pressure." Zerala stood up slowly. I must study you more, carefully. That night, she couldn't sleep. Something inside her was changing. She felt too warm. Her skin glowed brighter. She tried scanning herself and her readings were abnormal. Her own hormones were rising. Like it was her mating season. But that's not possible, she whispered. It's not time. She turned her head and looked. Toward Elliot's room. Something about his presence was affecting her. Her breathing grew faster. Her heart pounded. She placed a hand on her chest and whispered in fear. Is this what happens when you stay too close to a human male? Her final note that night to her professor simply read, Emergency. I think I'm changing. Zerala woke with a jolt. The scent was stronger today. Not from food. Not from flowers. It came from him. She sat up slowly in her bed, breathing carefully. Her body felt warm again, almost burning. Her skin sensors flickered with color and involuntary reaction of her species. A reaction only triggered during her mating season. But this wasn't mating season. She grabbed her scanner and aimed it at herself. Warning, hormonal spike detected. 'Cause unknown. Unknown? She whispered. No, it's not unknown. It's him. She stared at the wall separating her room from Elliot's. On the other side, he was probably brushing his teeth or making breakfast like nothing was wrong. But everything was wrong. At least in her body. Later that morning, Zerala sat quietly across the table as Elliot poured 2 cups of coffee. He looked fresh and relaxed as always. You slept okay? He asked. No, she replied honestly. Bad dreams? No, just human problems, he laughed. I didn't know I was a problem. Zerala didn't smile. You are. A big one. Elliot tilted his head. You're serious? Zerala leaned forward. You are always producing. Your body sends out signals. All the time. Pheromones, biological pressure. You affect other species just by existing. Elliot blinked. Whoa, I'm not doing it on purpose. I know. But your nature is chaotic. She stood and began pacing. Most species follow a natural rhythm. We prepare, we rest. We wait for the right time to mate. But your body is like a storm that never ends. Elliot scratched his head. Well, humans don't have a mating season. We just have feelings, and sometimes we act on them. Zerala turned to him with wide eyes. You mean, you are like this all the time? Elliot nodded slowly. I guess so, yeah. She stared at him like he was a ticking time bomb. No wonder your species is everywhere in the galaxy now, she said. You multiply like fire. Back in her room, Zerala began recording a private log for her university. Log entry 42. Subject, Elliot, human male. Observation, constant fertility confirmed. Physical and emotional control seem to vary based on social interaction, mood, and environment. Reactions in nearby non-human species have now been observed, including myself. Personal note. I am showing symptoms of early cycle heat, which should be impossible. My body is responding to his. I believe human males can override natural reproductive timing in other species. She stopped the recording. Her hand was shaking. This is more dangerous than I thought. That evening, Zerala followed Elliot quietly. While he met with his friends in a nearby park, he played some kind of game involving a ball. He laughed, he ran. Other females, human ones, hugged him and joked with him. Zerala's stomach twisted. She didn't understand the feeling. Until one of the human girls touched Elliot's arm and laughed loudly. Zerala's claws flexed. Jealousy. Her species didn't even have a word for it. But now she understood it. She hurried back to the house, locked her door, and scanned herself. Again, the readings were worse now. Temperature, rising. Heart rate, high. Pheromone response, active. Mating instinct, triggered. No, she whispered, backing away from the scanner. This isn't science. This is madness. Elliot knocked on her door. "Zirala, you okay?" She took a breath, trying to sound calm. "I'm fine, just studying. You left early. Everything cool?" "Yes, just data overload," he chuckled. "Yeah, human social stuff can be wild." Zirala opened the door slightly and peeked out. He stood there, kind as always, unaware of what his body was doing to hers. She whispered, "Do you know what you're doing to me?" Elliot blinked. "What?" Zirala quickly shook her head. "Nothing, never mind. I need rest." She closed the door and leaned against it. She whispered to herself, "I have to finish my study fast, before I do something I can't undo." Meanwhile, far away on her home planet, her professor read her recent logs. His face turned pale. "She's already responding," he said. "The human male is affecting her cycle. This could change everything." He sent a message with only 2 words, "Recall her." Cliffhanger for next part. As Zirala reads the urgent message from her professor, her body suddenly weakens. She grabs the edge of the table, gasping, as heat burns through her skin. She collapses to the floor just as Elliot walks into the room. She didn't faint. She fought it. Zirala's hands dug into the floor as her skin glowed hot with rising heat. Her alien biology screamed for release. Her mind still as scientists clung to reason. Her voice trembled. This is not real mating season. I must resist." The door burst open. Elliot froze in place when he saw her curled on the ground, breathing hard, skin pulsing with soft light like a rhythm from another world. "Zirala?" he gasped, rushing to her side. "What happened? Are you hurt?" She flinched as he touched her shoulder like his skin sent fire through hers. She jerked away, eyes wide. "Don't," she hissed. "Don't touch me. Your body is too loud." Elliot stared, confused. "Loud? What does that mean?" Zirala clutched her arms tightly, her voice shaking. "Your pheromones, your heat. It's like you're shouting at my cells." Elliot sat back, unsure what to say. "I didn't mean to. I know," she whispered. "That's what makes it worse. You don't even try. But my body listens. Anyway." She reached for her scanner, dragging it close. "Biological lockdown suggested. Mating instinct. 87% engaged." Her heart pounded. She whispered, "If it reaches 100%, my body will choose him." 2 hours later, Zirala sat alone in her room, curtain closed, a cool pack on her head, trying to calm herself. She had refused Elliot's help. She had to. Touch made things worse. Her cum device beeped. It was a message from Professor Rezal. "You are under biological threat. Pack your things. A retrieval ship is already on its way. You must return immediately." She stared at the message. Her eyes burned not from heat, but from something deeper. Fear, shame, regret. She whispered to herself, "Am I really just going to run away?" That night, Elliot sat outside on the porch. He looked up at the stars, sipping warm tea. He heard her soft footsteps behind him. Zirala slowly stepped into the moonlight. She had wrapped herself in thick fabric to block scent and heat signals. Her voice was low. "You don't understand what you are." Elliot looked at her calmly. "Then tell me." Zirala sat beside him, careful not to touch. "My species bonds once. One time in life, that's it. Our biology prepares slowly and carefully for the perfect match. Chosen during mating season. But now?" She paused, struggling for words. "You're not even trying, and my body is responding to you. That's not how it should work. It's too early. You're bending the rules of nature." Elliot said nothing. He just listened. Zirala continued, her voice barely a whisper. "You're always fertile, always giving off signals. There's no off switch, no mating season. How do you survive like this? How do you control it?" Elliot smiled softly. "We just choose. We learn to respect others. We feel things, but we don't always act on them. Zarala blinked. You mean you control it with your mind? Most of the time, Elliot said. Yeah. It's part of being human. She looked at him in awe. So much power, but so much control. That's what makes you dangerous. He raised an eyebrow. Dangerous? She nodded. Because now, I don't know if my feelings are real, or if they're just reactions to your body's signals. Elliot placed his cup down. Zarala, I won't touch you. I won't come near you unless you want me to, but I'm not going to run away either. She turned to him, surprised. I'm your host. But more than that, I care about you. You're not just an alien student to me. Her skin flickered slightly just for a second. She looked away, embarrassed. Don't say things like that, she whispered. My body hears every word. Later that night, Zarala sat alone, packing her bag. Her fingers paused on a small gift Elliot had given her, a simple earth flower, dried and pressed into a glass pendant. She clutched it tightly and closed her eyes. If I leave now, I'll stay safe. But I'll never know if this feeling is real, or something beautiful I was too afraid to understand. Outside, the retrieval ship from her homeworld lands quietly. 2 armored alien guards approach the house. Zarala looks out the window and doesn't move. She whispers, if I go with them, I lose him. If I stay, I might lose myself. The guards didn't knock. They scanned the door. They were here to retrieve a problem, not a person. Inside the house, Zarala stood perfectly still, her bag half-zipped. She could hear the soft hum of the alien ship outside, the kind she'd trained her whole life to board with honor. But tonight, it felt like a trap. Her body was no longer hers. Her skin glowed even when she tried to stop it. Her senses were tuned to one presence only, the human male in the next room, and he didn't even know he was the cause of her evolution. Outside, Elliot looked out the window at the strange ship and armored figures. Zarala? He called out, I think your people are here. No answer. He walked down the hallway and found her standing like a statue, her hands trembling. What's going on? He asked gently. They came to take me home, she whispered, voice low and full of weight. Because I'm changing. Elliot frowned. Changing how? Zarala turned to face him slowly. Her glowing eyes shimmered with emotion. My biology was simple, predictable. It followed rules. But now, because of you, it's rewriting itself. Elliot looked confused. Because of me, I didn't even touch you. That's the problem, she shouted suddenly. You didn't do anything yet. I still feel this way. Your body, your scent, your existence is enough to awaken something inside me. She took a shaky breath. I've never felt this before. And now I don't know if I'm falling for you, or if I'm just losing control. The guards knocked now 3 hard pounds on the door. Zarala flinched. Open in the name of the Zarellan Council. One voice boomed, you are to return. Immediately, Elliot looked at her, serious. Do you want to go? I don't know. I'm not stopping you, he said gently. But I don't want you to leave like this, afraid. Zarala looked into his eyes. You don't understand what staying means. If I bond with you, I can never go back. Not truly. Elliot smiled faintly. Then maybe the question is what do you want? Zarala opened the door. The guards stepped in, tall and cold. Pack your things. We leave now. Zarala didn't move. My name is Zarala of House Venzith, she said firmly. And I am still a student of biology. I will return only when I complete my study. The lead guard's eyes narrowed. You are not thinking clearly. No, she said. I am thinking for the first time. Her skin glowed brighter. I need to know if what's happening to me is science or something deeper. The guards hesitated. Then one of them pulled out a control wand. You are in heat. The law says, law does not understand what I feel, she said sharply. And with that, Zerala stepped backward and slammed the door in their faces. Elliot stared. Did you just disobey an interplanetary law? I did, she said calmly. And now I need your help to understand if this change inside me is real. That night, they sat on opposite ends of the couch. A fan hummed in the background. Her body burned from within, but she didn't move closer. Elliot kept his distance. Respectful, Zerala spoke first. Back home we bond once. Forever. The body chooses, and the mind accepts. But now I feel like my body has chosen without my mind's permission. Elliot leaned forward. So let your mind decide. Just take time, no pressure. She looked at him. You confuse me. He smiled. Good. Maybe confusion is part of learning. Later, in her room, Zerala opened a private channel to her professor. Sir, I have disobeyed. But not out of disrespect. I am undergoing a unique transformation. My body is adapting to Earth and to him. This may be the beginning of a new biological chapter between species. I will continue the study. She ended the message, then looked out the window. The guards were gone. So why did her heart still feel heavy? She placed her hand on her chest. Because if this bond becomes real, it changes everything. That night, a strange pulse rippled through her skin. Her heat cycle wasn't just starting, it was accelerating. Zerala fell to her knees, breathing hard. Her biology was no longer waiting. It had chosen. She whispered in fear and wonder. Only one male can fix this. And he's just down the hall. She was shaking, not from fear, not from pain. From something deeper need. Zerala crawled across the floor, her body glowing like a dying star. The heat inside her had turned into a storm. It pulsed through her bones. Her breath came in short gasps. She tried to stand, but her knees buckled. Her fingers clawed at the cold tiles. Why now? She whispered. Why him? Her mind was torn. Logic said leave. Biology said bond. Her species had a word for this moment. The point of no return. If she crossed it, there would be no turning back. Elliot knocked lightly on her door. Zerala? He said softly. I can feel something's wrong. Please, talk to me. She didn't answer. She couldn't. The door was unlocked. He stepped inside slowly and froze. Zerala was on the floor, curled in a ball, glowing like living fire. Her face was red, her eyes wet. Zerala. He rushed to her side, but she raised a trembling hand. Don't touch me, she breathed. If you do, my body will bond. I won't be able to stop it. Elliot knelt beside her, inches away. He didn't touch her. He didn't speak for a moment. Then finally, he whispered, Then I won't touch you. I'll just stay right here. She looked at him through blurry eyes. Why are you so kind to me? Don't you know what I am? You're a guest. He said simply, You're my friend, and maybe you're becoming more. Her heart skipped. Don't say that. Why not? Because if you say it, I might stay. Outside the house, the retrieval ship was still parked, but silent. The guards waited for one final message from her. She had 10 minutes left to decide. Return home or stay and risk everything. Her hands shook as she reached for the cum device. She stared at Elliot. His eyes weren't demanding. They weren't full of hunger like the males on her homeworld during season. They were gentle, human, real. Elliot, she said, voice weak. If I bond with you, I can never choose another. I will be yours for life. He leaned in closer, but still didn't touch. I'm not asking you to belong to me, he said softly. I just want you to stay because you want to. Zerala crawled to the wall, pressed her forehead against it, and screamed quietly. Her body wanted relief. Her heart wanted love. Her mind wanted answers. And then she made the call. She opened her cum channel to her planet and whispered one word, goodbye. The moment she said it, the ship outside powered down. The guards received the message. Mission failed. They stared at the house in silence, then left. Inside, Elliot felt the air shift. A tension broke. Zirala sat against the wall. Breathing hard. "You stayed," he said. "I didn't just stay," she whispered. "I chose." That night, she didn't sleep. Neither did Elliot. They sat on the floor, backs against opposite walls, talking softly. She told him about her world. He told her about his. They laughed, they cried, they shared, and slowly, Zirala's heat began to cool, not because it vanished, but because her body was no longer panicking. It had made its choice. Now it was waiting. Patiently. Zirala receives a final warning from her people. If you bond outside your species, you are no longer one of us. She turns off the screen and walks toward Elliot. Her voice is steady now. "If I choose you tonight, I lose my name, my family, and my future." She pauses. "But maybe I find something better." The stars watched her, but none offered answers. Zirala stood outside the house under the cold night sky. Barefoot, her glowing skin pulsing like a quiet fire. She held the message sphere tightly in her hand, its words still echoing in her mind. "If you bond with the human, your link to our people will be broken. You will lose your name, your rights, your future. You will be nothing." She looked up at the stars of her home system, somewhere out there. Her old life waited, but it no longer felt like hers. Inside the house, a single light was on. Elliot hadn't gone to sleep. He was waiting for her choice. She stepped back inside. Elliot turned from the window. "You okay?" Zirala closed the door behind her. Slowly, she walked toward him. "No, I'm not okay. I'm at the edge of everything I ever knew." He stood still, quiet. Zirala held up the sphere. "They gave me a final warning. If I bond with you tonight, I will lose my title, my family, my planet." Elliot's jaw clenched slightly. "And if you don't?" "I lose something else," she whispered. "Something I never expected to care about." "You mean me?" Zirala didn't answer. She walked closer. "I came here to study a species, to learn from the always fertile human male. But now, I'm the one being changed." She placed her hand on her chest. "My biology wants you. My instincts scream for you. But tonight, for the first time, it's not just my body." She took another step forward, eyes locked on his. "It's my heart too." Elliot stepped forward, but still kept his hands to himself. "You don't have to prove anything to me." "I'm not trying to prove anything," she said. "I'm trying to become something new." He tilted his head. "What do you mean?" Zirala looked down at her glowing palms. "My kind bonds once, one moment, one decision. And after that, it's forever. But what I feel tonight isn't fear anymore, it's clarity." She looked up. "If I bond with you, I don't want to do it because my body forces me. I want to do it because I choose it." Elliot smiled gently. "Then choose." She walked even closer, now just inches away. She could feel the heat from his skin. Her biology hummed, but it was quieter now. Softer, respectful. "My people say I'll become nothing if I do this," she whispered. "But maybe nothing is where something new begins." She reached out and took his hand for the first time. Her skin glowed bright. Her body didn't flare out of control this time. It simply accepted. Elliot looked at her hand in his. "So this is it? This is the moment?" Zirala nodded. "Yes, in my world, this is the bond." "And you're sure?" She smiled softly. "For the first time in my life, yes." The stars above didn't answer, but Zirala didn't need them anymore. She had chosen her future, not through law, not through season, not through biology, but through love. As Zirala and Elliot sit quietly, her skin begins to shift in color, not red, not gold, but something new. A color unknown to her kind. She gasps. My DNA. It's rewriting itself. I'm becoming something different. And outside, her homeworld ship returns, this time not to collect her, but to stop her. Her skin was no longer hers. It shimmered in colors that didn't exist on any star chart. Not red, not gold, not anything her kind had ever recorded. It pulsed with a strange beauty, as if her very soul had changed. Zerala stood in front of the mirror, her eyes wide. Her fingers trembled. I'm not what I was. She turned toward Elliot, who watched her from the doorway, stunned but calm. You're glowing, he whispered. I'm evolving, she said. My DNA is changing. This bond, it's rewriting everything. I'm becoming something that's never existed before. Is that bad? Zerala took a deep breath. No, it's not bad, it's just unknown. Suddenly, the walls of the house shook. A deafening hum filled the air. Elliot ran to the window and saw it, a massive ship, 5 times larger than the last one, descending through the clouds like a giant metal god. Zerala's expression went cold. That's not a transport, that's a purge ship. Elliot turned to her. What does that mean? They didn't come to take me back, she said softly. They came to erase me. The ground trembled as the ship landed just beyond the house. Bright lights flashed across the yard. Loudspeakers echoed in a language only Zerala fully understood. Zerala Venzith. You have committed a biological crime. You are hereby removed from the Zerellan gene line. Step forward for termination. Elliot grabbed her hand. You're not going out there. She squeezed his hand back. If I don't go, they might destroy the entire area. Your planet, your people. She looked into his eyes. But I won't let them touch you. I won't let them take my choice. She stepped outside slowly. Alone. Her glowing body lit up the yard. Soldiers stood ready with pulse weapons. Their leader, a tall Zerellan official in silver armor, stepped forward. You are no longer Zerala of House Venzith, he said coldly. You are a biological anomaly. Your bond with the human has created a contamination. Zerala lifted her chin proudly. I have chosen the human. The soldiers raised their weapons. Zerala raised her voice. And I do not fear your judgment. Let the galaxy hear me. I chose him not because my body told me to, but because my heart did. From the house, Elliot watched in awe. Zerala wasn't trembling anymore. She was glowing. Beautiful, powerful, fearless. The Zerellan leader lifted a scanner and stared at it in shock. This reading. It's not Zerellan. And not human either. It's something new. Zerala stepped forward. Yes, I am the first of a new kind. A bridge between worlds. And I will not be erased. The scanner beeped louder. Her body wasn't just changing, it was stabilizing. Into a new form. Something the galaxy had never seen. The soldiers hesitated. They weren't trained for this. One of them whispered, She's not a danger. She's an evolution. The leader shouted, Fire! But no one moved. Not a single soldier raised their weapon. Zerala smiled sadly. Even your army knows. The future can't be stopped. She turned back and walked toward Elliot, who met her halfway. Together, they stood in the moonlight, hand in hand. 2 hearts. 2 species. 1 bond. As the enemy ship lifted off silent and defeated, Zerala leaned her head on Elliot's shoulder. I was once just a curious student, she whispered. Now, I'm the proof that love can rewrite biology. Elliot smiled. So what now? She smiled back. Now we live, we learn. And maybe one day, we teach others. Somewhere in the stars, a new story had begun, not written by fate or science, but by choice. And it all started with one human. And one alien who dared to choose him.